Thank you to all of our witnesses for their opening statements. And again, we very much thank the family and friends who have come to give you support. We now must ask all of you a series of standard questions this committee poses to all civilian nominees. So if you would all turn on your speakers and just answer together verbally. Have you adhered to applicable laws and regulations governing conflicts of interest?
Yes.
Have you assumed any duties or taken any actions that would appear to presume the outcome of the confirmation process?
No.
Exercising our legislative and oversight responsibilities makes it important that this committee, its subcommittees, and other appropriate committees of Congress receive testimony, briefings, reports, records, and other information from the executive branch on a timely basis. Do you agree, if confirmed, to appear and testify before this committee when requested?
Yes.
Do you agree to provide records, documents, and electronic communications in a timely manner when requested by this committee, its subcommittees, or other appropriate committees of Congress, and to consult with the requester regarding the basis for any good faith delay or denial in providing such records?
Yes.
Will you ensure that your staff complies with the deadlines established by this committee for the production of reports, records, and other information, including timely responding to hearing questions for the record?
Yes.
And will you cooperate in providing witnesses and briefers in response to congressional requests?
Yes.
And finally, will those witnesses and briefers be protected from reprisal for their testimony or briefings?
Yes.
All right, that concludes those questions, and I would note for the record satisfactory answers on the part of all four of our witnesses. Okay, I got 5 minutes. Let's see how well I can do here. Mr. Marks, you mentioned facilities. Thank you for doing that. I assume you noticed that I stressed the 4% requirement contained in the most recent NDAA, and that I mentioned it actually twice. Did you notice that?
I did, Senator.
Do you think there's a reason that I read that?
Senator,
twice?
it's vitally important, and I appreciate the conversation we had in your office as well.
Okay, well, if you're confirmed, and I'm sure you will be, will you make sure and will you commit to this committee that you're going to follow that requirement and actually tend to this?
Yes, Senator, I commit.
I very much appreciate that. Now, let's see, Mr. Hansel, let's talk about economic warfare and irregular warfare. You might tell us what your view is of exactly what that is, but I assume you believe that we have a lot more to do on this issue with regard to our pacing challenge, the Chinese. But do you believe it's time for one person to have the coordinating responsibility for all of this economic warfare and irregular warfare?
Senator, I appreciate the question. It's a rather large one. I certainly acknowledge that economic security is national security, but relevant to my portfolio and what I think you're referencing is the aggressive, malign activity short of armed conflict that China is conducting is the reason of why I've outlined in my opening statement one of my priorities of providing the Secretary more risk-informed options to compete along the full continuum of conflict, and that would certainly entail an increased focus on irregular warfare. And so as to the structure, I'm not yet in the department and can't speak authoritatively about the best structure, but I can tell you from my government experience and the threat that the Chinese activity is incredibly adept at exposing the seams in our government structure. And I think we need very aggressive integrated coordination in order to best leverage our capabilities. I think that it's certainly economic warfare. That would be an interagency whole of government approach. But within DOD itself, I do believe that if confirmed, my office would be, I would advocate for my office to have a leadership role in such coordination.
Very good, and I'm glad you looked at that, and you, of course, you cannot assume what you'll find when you get in there. But let me just observe that the DOD has more than a dozen players in this space, and I would hope that perhaps your shop could take a lead role in coordinating all the activities among more than a dozen organizations. Now, Representative Williams, you've got one thing to concentrate on, and that is modernizing our U.S. nuclear weapons stockpile, and working with Chairman Fisher and Ranking Member King in making this the largest civil works project in the history of our government work. I hope you will stay away from ill-advised attempts to undermine the autonomy of the NNSA. Can I have your personal assurance that you'll focus on modernizing the U.S. nuclear weapons stockpile and oppose any moves to undermine the independence of NNSA or distract from its core mission, which I just outlined?
Chairman Wicker, thank you for the question. Yes, I will certainly endeavor, should I be confirmed, to produce the weapons of our strategic deterrence. I'm deeply committed to that. I've been a customer of those and care deeply about that mission. Since the Atomic Energy Commission, going back to the beginning, right after the Manhattan Project, civilian control and independence of our nuclear weapons enterprise has been essential. And I think it's a part of American beliefs that there should be that separation, and I will endeavor, should I be confirmed, to keep that independent.
That's helpful. Let me take up a bit of liberty here. Mr. Matthews, there's been a problem in the past with DOD, OGC, and I certainly hope you're going to help us rectify this. We make requests, we get responses very late from various components of the department, unnecessary redactions of sentences, long passages in documents that we receive. If confirmed, how would you use your role as General Counsel to ensure that the DOD responds to this committee, as you now promised to do, in full, transparent, and timely manner, and avoid this practice of incomplete, late, and redacted responses?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Chairman. I can say that if confirmed, I'm going to return your phone calls, Mr. Chairman, and those of Ranking Member Reed or any member of this committee. I view the Congress of the United States as the board of directors for the Department of Defense, and I consider it my responsibility. If confirmed, I would consider my responsibility to be responsive.
Okay, well, I appreciate that. You know, we can have a hearing, Senator Reed, down in the classified SCIF if we need to. But once we get down there, the redactions need to be lifted. And so I'll leave it at that. And I thank my colleagues for indulging me.